Well, since you guys seem to be interested in this conversion process, I thought I would document this a little bit more closely. Um, Let me get you caught up to speed on the project. The PT-19, yeah, if you recall last time in the last installment, we had some issues with the ailerons, which I addressed. I managed to figure out that it was, in fact, the extensions that were coming from the receiver. So that has been replaced. These are fresh, brand new, made them myself, and no longer a problem with that saggy aileron that's kind of slow. That does make a difference. And I noted that a couple of you guys in the comments on the last video have had similar experiences. So make sure you check your wires as well. All right, ultimately we have a couple of changes here. So let me first go up to the engine and show you what's going on there. So what you're seeing here is our Sato 150S, and there's not a whole lot of change to the engine itself, other than I have already begun to replace the fuel lines. So one thing to note about gas is that the silicone fuel lines are not compatible with gasoline. You have to switch to this material, which is Tygon. You can pick this up at Dubro as well as other places that sell gas engines and such. I am using the fuel clips. These clips help to secure the fuel lines, even though there's hose barbs and such involved that helps make things nice and clean there too. Additionally, I did also replace this clevis here because the one that was there for the choke was getting a little bit mangled. It was old and just needed to be replaced. Not that that's a huge functionality thing. It's more or less a convenience thing so that if it breaks at the field, I'm not hosed. Other thing, I did notice having the cowl off that we were still getting a little bit of rubbing on the timing ring here. So I did get out the Dremel and open up this hole a little bit more. Additionally, because of this gas conversion, you've got to get an increase in your cooling air. So given that this is my frontal air intake, essentially these two holes and this hole, this is an increase in exit area. Depending on the temperatures that I see, I can increase this. I'll cut a little bit more open here, but I'm trying to keep this to a minimum. This hole I actually don't need. Same with this hole. So those upon the rebuild here, those holes will get filled if I get to. Well, this one for sure. This one, if I don't need additional cooling air exit area. So the other thing that you'll note is this wire right here. This is for a thermistor that connects to the RPM sensor. If you recall on the last video, the RPM sensor from FreeSky can also be adapted to the ignition system through the RPM output. And so I can monitor telemetry through that. That same telemetry sensor has two temperature sensors that you can plug in. And so I've got a head temperature sensor, and I have put it on the fin that is pretty close to the top where a spark plug is on the other side. This particular model has two spots for spark plugs. So it's toward the top, which should be the hottest part so that I can monitor the engine's temperature. Pretty nice to have. Additionally, I've run another Tygon tubing for the exhaust to pressurize the tank. It's going to be set up exactly the same, plumbed exactly the same as the Glow, since I don't have a pumped carburetor. And that's the other thing that I need to talk about is the carburetor. So as I mentioned in the previous video, this kit did come with a Walbro carburetor. Where did I put that? Found it. Here it is. Yeah, it came with a Walbro carburetor. I mean, it says right on the package, Walbro. But it also comes with an adapter and a support bracket and an extension for the intake tube, and all the ancillary screws and bobs and bits that are needed for that. However, I have been told that you can use the glow carburetor. You just got to adjust the needle and the jets. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to take the main needle, and I've been advised that you simply just adjust it to 1 full turn out. So when I reset the needle, the way my settings were before, it was roughly 2 2/3 to 3/4 of the way turn out, which is rich, which is a good thing. So I just seated it all the way in and unscrewed it 1 full turn. So that's where we're going to start. We'll try to initially start this with the cowl off. That way we can make adjustments, whether it to be the low speed needle or the high speed. We'll see what's what. But it'll probably be a painful process. I won't put you guys through watching all of that. But yeah, anyway, we've got other things yet that we need to do. On the bench, we have remaining items. Okay, first, and probably foremost, the prop needs to go back on. I'll do that later. Really what we need to focus on is the fuel tank. So the fuel tank originally came with this rubber stopper, good quality Dubro stopper. This sucker looks brand spanking new, as does the fuel tank, because Dubro reasons, right? So what we have to do, not only do we have to swap over the rubber grommet from glow to the gas kind, remember, brown for gas, black for glow, and we have to also change over our tubing from the silicone to the Tygon on the inside as well. So I use a 3-port for this, and the reason that I did that is because I have a dedicated fuel fill and empty line. That is why I have 2 extensions here. And then of course I have my bent vent tube, and that will use the same technique that is outlined in Dubro 101 for the vent tube. And that is the exhaust. The tube from the exhaust to give pressure to the tank. All right, so I'm going to put you on the tripod and I'm going to get to work. One thing I'll note real quick is that I did take some gasoline and rinse this out a couple of times just to get any residual oil out of here. Too tight. Too tight. I was right the first. Much better. All right, so I did replace the filler tube with Tygon as well, in case you're curious. So we're going to do the vent first. Kind of difficult for you to see anything that's going on anyway. But yeah. Ooh, maybe I should get... Sometimes my fingers are just too big. So the tube is on there. Now we got the clamp. Now I can rotate the tank and do the fuel feed line. And the clamp is on. Rotate the tank and stick it to the big pile of Velcro on the inside. That's pretty much it. Well, I apologize. That is the only engine running clip I was able to get because I was tuning. So the switch has been switched and it is now 98 degrees in the shade. Tomorrow is supposed to be 102. The next day 100. Basically, it's supposed to be 100 for like a week straight. And I've run out of time. So let me go over the reason why I haven't done any further tuning on this. Looking on this side of the engine, it's kind of hard to see at first. You have to kind of get down, but I had a situation where I was trying to tune the engine and I was like, why is it so lean all of a sudden? This is really weird. That's simply because the Tygon tubing that was attached to the muffler for pressure into the fuel tank, the heat from the muffler got so bad that this had popped off. I did not put a clamp on there just because I didn't have one at the time, and frankly, I forgot. So now that we have this known, I'm going from silicone to Tygon. So silicone will take the heat, but not necessarily the gas. The only gas this is really going to see is vapor for one, any vapor coming through here, but most of that is just going to be exhaust. But when we're filling up, this is going to be the overflow. So a little bit of fuel will come down here and then I will suck back and this will immediately come back. So it'll be only brief. That'll be an inspection point, obviously. But we've got a little piece of aluminum tube, could have used brass. And of course, we've got Dubro spring fittings here to keep everything secure. That is it. So why do I mean I have run out of time? Well, if you've been following along this project from the beginning, you'll know that it is Fairchild's 100th anniversary this year, and they're having a little get-together in Hagerstown, Maryland. It's no secret. It's very public. They're having an event. And so my goal is to restore this airplane to look like a real PT. There are a couple of things that need to happen. First, the wings. Good heavens. Okay, so the wings need to be stripped. There are a couple of places that looks like need to do some wood repair underneath. Not a huge deal. But the whole thing needs to be recovered. And I've got a whole roll of Oratex to do that. It's the right yellow. So I won't have to do any painting other than any insignias or other stuff that I want to do there, okay? The other thing is this fuselage. The fuselage is the wrong shade of blue. The tail planes are the wrong shade of yellow, and I want the yellow to match what's going on the wings. And then the rudder, I want to be painted properly rather than this red with white over top, and the white is chipping because film coverings suck. I hate to be that blunt about it, but I mean that's about the long and short of it, okay? So I need to strip the tail down surgically and remove all the tail planes and recover them in addition to painting all of the fuselage. So I've got to, let me flip you around and do all of this. Yeah, see, with all these screws, I can just pull the canopies off And then this cockpit combing, it's all cracked and it needs to be black. So I can replace that with some vacuum hose from the automotive store. Should be just fine. And then obviously want to protect the pilot and the dashes, because these are really quite nice. So this needs to be painted the correct color blue. I've already experimented on the cowl that the numbers do come off. They're just stickers, and they come off with a little bit of heat. So not a huge deal there. And I can get a full decal set from Cali. Obviously, I've got some additional repairs to make for some, non-scale things that had non-scale happenings going on. So this is coming up in September. It's like mid-September. And with the switch being flipped, it's now officially build season again for me in full swing. I don't like to go out and fly in this. I might hit another event here or there, but it's just too hot for me. When it's like 100 degrees in the shade, that's not a good time for me. I don't like sitting around all day in that sweaty, nasty, and just, it's gross. It's gross, particularly with the humidity here. So I'll continue to work in my shop and get this ready for that event. I've got other things to make progress on for the Model 44. And then keep on helping my friend in my club with his dream project that you all have really enjoyed progress on there. So lots of things to do. And thank you so much for following along. Head on over to dubro.com and get yourself a little 10% off using code Josh10. I don't get anything from this, guys. It is for you. Those guys at Dubro, Brian, they do it for you guys because they care about this hobby community. I'm telling you right now, it's a blessing to have good companies and good people running them. Until next time, guys, keep restoring your flying works of art.